Welcome back. And sharing our kitchen is Marie Hegler from Clemson University. She's talented and a good cook. And today you've got chicken bites with orange and
ginger.
Ooh.
So the pasta salad is kind of a more Italian-ish dish.
Okay.
And this is sort of has more of an Asian flair. And this is all for tailgating, which is American
or
sport.
feeding a crowd.
Or feeding a crowd, yes.
You bet.
And this is sort of the idea behind this is because a lot of times people eat wings on certain occasions.
Yeah.
So this is sort of a healthier version of wings.
Good for you.
So we're not going to fry it. We're actually going to bake it. But the flavor essence of this is going to be in the marinade. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to make the marinade. And for this recipe, the chicken I used was actually chicken thighs. They're boneless, skinless chicken thighs, but you could use boneless, skinless chicken breasts.
Whatever
you could use whatever. Yeah. That just has a little bit more
flavor.
flavor.
And you baked it ahead of time?
Well, I marinated it overnight. But you can.
Okay.
I'm going to show you how to do the marinade. And once you put the chicken in the marinade, you let it marinate for about 2 hours up until or you can do overnight, which is what I did. So we're going to start off with some orange marmalade. So in your grocery store, go to the jam and jelly section.
Third cup.
A third cup of orange marmalade. And then
you have a fourth cup of orange juice.
Fourth a cup of orange juice. So I'm going to use this orange.
Oh, she is a purist.
Before I do that, though, we're going to actually add the orange rind, which is lower on that.
Okay.
So a teaspoon of it. So let me do that before I try to juice it, because then it's harder to actually. And I'm using a microplane, but you can, of course, just peel it with a knife and then grate it up. So it's pretty much the rind of one orange, and then we're going to use the juice of one orange. But the measurements are a teaspoon of orange rind and then a third of a cup of orange juice. So we're going to use all parts of the orange.
Okay, so you have a third of a cup of orange marmalade and a fourth of a cup of orange juice when you get around to that. And then you do the peeling. You're just putting a whole orange in there?
Yeah, and you don't want to get down to the white. So if you were to peel this with a knife, you would take the white pith off of it, because that has a little bit more bitterness, and all we want is the zest of it. And see, this is a handy dandy little gadget. I'm not into gadgets, but this gadget is really good.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we're going to just add this orange. I'm going to just eyeball it, even though it's about a third of a cup, or a fourth of a cup, excuse me.
Yeah, fourth. It doesn't vary. You don't need, a lot.
Yeah.
And you've already got your minced
garlic. I'm going to add some.
You're going to have to add that.
Yes. So and I went ahead and did that. So this is 3 cloves of garlic that have been minced. And that if you have a big clove of garlic, you can use the whole thing. It's probably about a teaspoon of minced garlic.
Okay.
So we're adding that in there. And then ginger. I love ginger. And ginger is sort of an interesting looking plant. It's looks like a root. It smells delicious. And it has kind of a floral quality to it, I think. But to grate the ginger, it's hard to dice it up with these little knobs. So I usually just peel it, and I'm taking off probably more than I should, but just to get down to the
So you have 2 tablespoons of minced peeled ginger.
Yes. So I just kind of took off the bark, or whatever you want to call it, on the ginger, and I'm going to slice it really fine, because I'm just going to dice it. It's going to be the same consistency of that garlic I just did. And I would say about a 2-inch piece of ginger would give you about 2 tablespoons.
Okay. Oh, my.
So
you've about the same amount of ginger and garlic.
Yes. And if you go to if you like sushi and you go to a sushi place, you'll notice that the ginger, there's always this little pink slivers, but ginger naturally is just white, so it's not pink as it looks in sushi restaurants.
Okay.
And don't just eat a handful of this. It's very potent. It has a very strong taste. So we're mincing it up so that it kind of spreads out the. So yeah, that's about 2 tablespoons of ginger. gonna add that to this bowl.
Ginger orange chicken bites. This is something kind of different, and it's fun to try different things.
Oh, that's a little good.
Okay.
And now we're gonna add some different other flavor ingredients. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. So that's gonna be the salty component. This is light soy sauce, or low sodium soy sauce, but you could just use regular.
And when you say light, it has what?
Less sodium.
Less salt, and so that's something to look for when you grocery shop.
Because soy sauce is notoriously very salty.
I know. So this cuts back
but
on
we're
that.
not adding any salt at this point to this stuff, so that is the salty component.
Okay, now what?
And then I'm going to use, I think it's a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Try to say that 3 times fast. And then just for oil, I'm using sesame oil. So it gives another Asian sort of element. So this is 2 teaspoons.
You're getting very fancy today, Marie.
I know. So 2 teaspoons of that. And that is all that's in the marinade. So I'm going to stir it up. And what I've already done is marinate the chicken. So I'll show you what kind of size pieces you want.
You want me to get the tray? Where is it? Here.
It's a 1/4 pound. I mean, it's 1.5 pounds of chicken. So if you use boneless, skinless breast, or if you use the chicken thigh.
You used
chicken thigh.
thighs.
But it's boneless, skinless still.
But you can use it whatever you like.
Yes.
Now,
So
you marinate it, you cut up the chicken ahead of time.
cut up the chicken.
bites.
I would add the chicken at this point to this, and maybe in a Ziploc bag, so you can put it in the refrigerator. 2 hours. So you could do this over the night before.
All right.
Before you're going to make it. You take it out, preheat your oven to 425, and then bake it in a baking sheet for 20 minutes.
And did you spray this sheet with something?
You spray it with cooking spray.
Yeah.
And you can add a little salt and pepper. Like, I didn't add any salt and pepper to this, but if you put it out on here, you can add a little salt and pepper. Bake it for 20 minutes, and then you can see there's kind of a crispiness. To give it that crispiness, I broil it for 5 minutes after that. So then it gets
So you bake it for how long?
You bake it for 20 minutes.
Because these are very small pieces.
At 425, yes. So 20 minutes, 425. It's pretty high temperature. Then you take it out, crank up the broiler, or you could actually bake, because that's completely cooked at that point. So you could bake it, put it up, and then if you decided whenever you're going to serve, right before you serve it, you could broil it for 5 minutes.
All right.
And it'll give
but if you're going to take this tailgating, you don't need it to be, I mean, you can't keep it hot anyway.
Yeah. So these are,
right?
Yeah. So these are good cold as well. And then what I do is, this is not hot anymore because
No, it's been sitting out here, so it's
nice and cool.
That really is interesting.
So broiling it gives it that crispy feel that you would associate with like chicken wings and that kind of thing. Another thing you can do, you can either just, when you take it to, if you have people over at your house, or if you go to a tailgate, or you take it to a tailgate, you can either just stick some toothpicks, I couldn't think of the name, or you can just go through and stick them all with things so people can just go up and have a.
And then she also has on this same folder healthy snacks, and these are just, you arrange a tray with some dip, low-fat kind of dressing, and cut up some whatever you want. I mean, it can be apples, it can be all kinds of celery, little carrots, things that are easy. Put it out and let people have something that is really good for them.
And also making it portion-wise, so those are bite-sized, so people can just go up and eat it. But if you make a salsa or a dip and just put it in little portion cups, that would, kind of prevents people from overindulging at a tailgate.
So you serve a little smaller portions, and it helps people not to overeat, which we all are guilty of sometimes, So this folder is delightful, Marie, and I love all the safety tips on there and the healthy snacks. And it's all there for you. And it's free, thanks to Marie Hegler and Clemson. So just send us that self-addressed envelope. We'll be happy to stuff it and send it right to you. But we do need the number, which is 844. 844. And send it to the Peggy Denny Show, Post Office Box 1616, Greenville, South Carolina 29602, or click on peggydenny.com, and we'll be happy to share with you. Thanks to Marie. This is beautiful. I always love your folders. They're so colorful and fun. You know, that, and you actually create some of your own recipes, don't you?
Yes, I usually start from a recipe of sorts, and then I make it my own.
And then you transfer it to your own.
To my own sort of idea.
That's lovely. And I thank you for all the good recipes you've shared with us in the past. And I know that one thing you're very busy with all during the summer months are canning.
Oh, yeah.
You've just finished all of that, those canning lessons.
I might do apples, because apples are kind of coming in, but that'll be my last hurrah with canning. But yeah, done a lot of tomatoes, salsas,
and there's a lot
jams.
of renewed interest in people learning to do that.
I think, yeah, with the local food movement, that's everybody, people like to have their own gardens and know where their food comes from, and canning, I think, is having a resurgence of interest, which is good.
And this is good for health.
Yeah, because you can moderate how much sugar you're putting in your can, well, depending on what you're canning. You know, salt, when you make green beans, if you can your own green beans, you don't have to add salt to it to preserve it. That's not part of it. So you can add salt to flavor it, but you put no salt in it if you want.
Well, that's a good thing. I don't put salt on things, and then I let people salt what they want.
That's a good way to do it.
That way. Then they're cutting down on the salt and the sugar. That's what we need to start. Okay.
Sure.
Marie, will you come back?
Of course.
Oh, I love
Always.
working with you. Thank you so much for this beautiful folder, recipe 844. And wherever you are, try to find those healthy, good things for you and your family. And we'll see you next time.